All righty, my man Diggs is with us. We're talking 5A Division Two, and we have ourselves yet another sweet district with a lot of teams that aren't normally put together, but they're in this one, and I'm interested in see who you think may come out of this tip.
Yeah, we took the old 5A and married it to 8A and created this district. Should be a fascinating one. Brought up a good team from 4A, brought it down a good team from 5A, and now you got lots of new battles and lots of interesting intrigue. But Ward, you know me when it comes to Mansfield Summit. Mansfield and Summit and I have not always seen eye to eye on a lot of things, especially after the COVID thing a couple years ago, fifth place, getting into the playoffs, but still winning the region. And this year, Ward, I think I'm objectively going to be disrespectful at the mouth again because I think almost everybody is going to pick Mansfield Summit to win this district. And I can see why, given their pedigree, winning the region 2 straight years and in 4-5A over in Division 1. And now they're coming to a district where they're coming down to Division 2. And, Ward, I'm not going to pick them to win the district. How disrespectful am I, sir?
At the mouth, too.
At the mouth.
If there's one place I hate you being disrespectful, it's at the mouth. And that's what you're
Absolutely
doing.
at the mouth. But Mansfield Summit, for me, they just graduated too much. I mean, they got a couple good players. They had Joseph Williams, the quarterback they call Alaska. He's going to be coming back. Isaiah Allen, a good wide receiver, and Cameron Berry, good free safety. A.J. McDonald coming back. But in this district, with what else is coming back with the other teams, I just don't think it's enough. And the team I like in this district, and they've been a little bit of a disappointment, Mansfield Summit's younger brother, Mansfield Timberview, has knocked them out of the playoffs the last couple of years. But I like Ennis because Ennis is just returning everybody. Jackson Gilkey won MVP in that district last year, was an all-star. They got him coming back. They got some speed in Grayson Harris out there at the receiver position. They got a lot of their line coming back. Their defense is pretty stout. I think Ennis, with everything that they have coming back, has to be considered the favorite. And again, to be disrespectful at the mouth, okay, well, Ennis is a good team. They've been right up there, state title contenders. Okay, you got Mansfield Summit number 2. I got Midlothian Heritage number 2, Ward, because Midlothian Heritage is bringing back everybody. It is great. 9 offensive starters coming back. All were all district last year. They were in that district with Stephenville. So they've played some really good teams. That was a gauntlet of a district last year with Waco La Vega and just everybody they had to play. And they got Caden Brown, Jason Barella, Colton Kyle, all kinds of receivers. I really like Midlothian Heritage to come up and succeed at this district. Now, that's not to say I don't think Mansfield Summit's going to be a bad team. I think they're going to be a good team. I've got them at number 3. I just think Ennis and Midlothian Heritage is a little bit better this year.
That's a good point about Heritage because a couple weeks ago we talked about Argyle moving up, and they, on the contrary, they graduated a lot. Now, granted, Argyle has the athletes to put in here, but they just grow them out there. Heritage, like you said, they're bringing them back. So many athletic players that went through the trials and tribulations of that year with La Vega and all them in their district, and it's kind of a little prep start for them to get ready for this district. And let's talk a little bit about Everman, because you were talking about quarterbacks Gilkey and Brown. I kind of like Bassett at Everman, the quarterback. He's another one of those athlete type quarterbacks that could either pass it or take off on you.
Yeah, he really can, and they got the running back coming back, so you got that kind of chemistry with Jonathan Wilson, and they got a really good player. I think it's very underrated, plays both sides of the ball. Eric Mills coming back. You might see him at fullback. You might see him at linebacker. They've got some really good players, and I think Everman will be competing for that 4th playoff spot. But I think Burleson, you got to give them the edge. And I know the big story in the offseason was number 1 quarterback in the world, Dylan Raiola, transferring to Arizona. But they got a Kitna coming up, and I wonder if that had something to do with it, him transferring out of there with Jamison Kitna. Now, I'm not saying Jamison Kitna is a better quarterback than Dylan Raiola by any means, but, given the family heritage there, that was going to be a hard sell to keep him on the bench. And so far in the 7-on-7 circuit, the recruitniks out there who are talking about who the players coming up are, class of 2025, they're talking about Jamison Kitna. Now, we haven't seen him in 11-man football action. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think flag football correlates well, but they like his skills. They like his arm size. But will it translate into district play with linemen and people chasing after them and decision making? But again, when I've always said, when you got a quarterback's son at quarterback, or you got a coach's son at quarterback, it's like playing 12 on 11. It's like penalty in hockey right there. You got that one extra player, and Jamison Kitna could be that for Burleson. But I think Burleson and Everman will be fighting for that fourth playoff spot.
That's a good point. It would have been hard for John to say, sorry, son, you're not going to get in here because Raul's here. So who knows what was really going on behind the scenes, but you make a very good point there. Got 3 other teams in this district. Tell me what you think about Seguin, Corsicana, and then Joshua with DeArmond's second year there.
Yeah, I think all 3 are going to be on the outside looking in. I don't think it's going to be very close. Arlington, Seguin, and all 3 of these teams graduated heavy. It's not like you can look back at what they've got coming back and go, there's a little bit of a diamond in the rough here. And DeArmond, I'm his biggest fan. I want to see Josh. I think the world would be a better place if Joshua was playing good competitive football and competing for playoff spots. But I don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to have to rebuild the culture up there and get some players in there and get some athletes in there. And Joshua just hasn't traditionally had the athletes. They play hard. They play over their pay grade. But in this kind of a district, you got to have the athletes. I look at who they got coming back. They got Samuel Petty at the wide receiver position, Josh Johnson, and Gage Bandy. Gage Bandy, I saw him against Timberview last year. He's a special player. I think he'll make an impact. I think he'll win some all-district awards. But I just don't think they're going to be able to score in this district at the pace that they're going to need. So unfortunately, I'm picking them last. I think Corsicana's got some young talent. They got Dante Thomas coming back at receiver and Carl Harris, a really good lineman, coming back, and Maj Hervey, a really good linebacker, coming back. But I think they're just going to be a little on the outside of the playoff run as well. I think Seguin, of those bottom 3, has the best chance to compete to get up in that playoff race, but I think they're going to fall 6th in this district as well.
Well, you've run them all down, but just to recap, give me 1 through 8.
Absolutely. And again, I apologize to our friends at Mansfield Summit. I said we'd quit talking about that 2020 year. I'm not talking about the year. I just don't think you're going to win this district. I got Ennis number 1, Midlothian Heritage number 2, Mansfield Summit, a playoff team. And when they get in the playoffs, they are magical in November and December. I got them at number 3, Burleson at number 4, Everman 5, Seguin 6, Corsicana 7, and Joshua 8.
I feel like you're apologizing a lot to Summit these days. You seem like the bad husband that's always messing up and has to apologize to Summit later on down the line. But And
really, in this district, and we'll talk about this next week, you want to avoid the 4th place spot, because when you look at 5A versus 6-5A, I don't think we're going to have much debate on who that 6-5A first seed is going to be. And we'll talk about who that's going to be next week.
That's a great out right there. We'll see you next week.